Thank you so much for joining me today in a story that has been written especially for you. The title is And Just Like That, The World Shrank, written and illustrated by Marlene Dean. Dedication with love to Jesus, Kevin, Tommy, Brittany, and Mama. We must be ready to allow ourselves to be interrupted by God is a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. My name is Lavinia Edwards. I'm in the third grade and full of energy. I love being on the go. Sitting still is not my favorite. I always say there is a great big world out there and I enjoy being a part of it. Or at least I did enjoy being a part of it until it shrank. Yes, you heard me right. I said the world shrank. For me, it began when Daddy watched the news one night, and the next morning he told me I could not go to Grandma's house for spring break. He said it was not good to go out of state because of some virus. I was mad thinking about all the cookies Grandma would not get to bake for me. Fortunately, Daddy decided to help Grandma learn about Google Meet. It was not easy to teach her. Daddy got frustrated. But eventually, Grandma and I were able to use it for her to give me her recipe and coach me through baking cookies just like she does. We laughed a lot, and I was proud to learn to bake just like her. Next thing I know, Mama is saying we cannot even visit the beach. I argued that we always go to the beach in April. Mama said, "Not this year, sweetie. That county says no visitors allowed." But I wanted to pick up pretty shells. Big Brother saw me pouting. He said, "If you love the beach so much, why don't you write an article about the different types of shells you can find on the beaches of North Carolina?" You know, he had a good idea. So I did the research and wrote an amazing article for my school blog. Next morning, our teacher sat us down to give us some bad news. She said we had to cancel our field trip since it was out of the county. I was so upset. I was looking forward to going to hear the symphony. My face crumpled into a frown that I wore all day at school. Our music teacher felt bad for us, so she handed us some new sheet music to learn on our recorders and recommended us learning the new tune so we could give our own concerts on our porches at home. She said it would help cheer up the neighbors. Well, that is just what I did. My neighbor, Miss Marsh, yelled, "Bravo!" and Mr. Denny clapped. Just when I thought I'd been disappointed enough, I found out that our local library had closed because of the virus. But I needed to return the book I had already read, and I need a new one to read. No beach, no symphony, no grandmas. Now, no new adventure in a book. My frown was coming back. When I got home, I told Mama, and Mama told little brother that if the library was closed, then there would be no toddler time reading program meeting that week either. He cried. It made me sad. So I got out one of my old books from when I was little, and I read it aloud to him. He smiled. That made me happy. Later in the day, I asked Mama to take me to the store. If I couldn't borrow a book to read, then I wanted to buy a new coloring book. Mama said the department stores were closed because of the virus. But coloring helps me to deal with stress, and I am stressed. I don't want a new coloring book. I need a coloring book. Baby brother said, "Me got no color book either. No crayons neither." That gave me an idea. I took a blank piece of paper and drew a large bunny rabbit on it. I grabbed a handful of my old crayons and gave them and the picture of the bunny to baby brother. He giggled as he colored. He did not stand the lines, but that was okay. Just when I had a handle on all the places I could not go anymore, another place was added to the list. "No, honey, you cannot go to the community park. It is closed," Daddy said. "Great day in the morning. How am I supposed to accept no longer being able to get on the swing set?" Mama saw me walking aimlessly around in the yard. She told me she was sorry about the park and asked me if I wanted to help her. She was cutting flowers in her garden to deliver to the porches of the elderly women in the neighborhood. I helped her. I tapped on the doors, laid the flowers on the porches, and found my smile again. When we finished, I decided I would be okay with the park closing. I would just get with the kids on my street and we could do chalk art together in the cul-de-sac. "Sorry, dear," Mom said. "For right now, the moms have decided to keep you all apart to keep you well." "But, Mom," I said, "just like the flowers, our colorful chalk art display cheers up the neighbors." Mom had an idea, a brilliant idea. Even though Christmas was months ago, she pulled out the strings of colorful lights and we strung them on the porch and in our windows. "There you go," Mom said. "You still displayed cheerful colors for the neighbors." Later in the week, Coach calls. He tells Daddy we don't have practice that evening. He says there won't be any more ball practices at all this spring. All our games have been canceled. "But I like to play ball. I am good at it." Dumb virus. I grumble about the cancellations, about the virus, and about the closures under my breath. I ran out the front door when I felt my bottom lip poke out. Mr. Midnight Twinkletoes saw me flop down on the porch steps. Silently, he tiptoed over to me and sat in my lap to purr. I tried to ignore him, but he is not one to be ignored. He kept patting my face until I laughed at him. Turns out I still got to play that afternoon. Seems I'm pretty good at playing with cats, too. On Saturday night, it dawned on me. The neighborhood moms might keep me from my friends, but I still have Sunday school friends that I can see at church in the morning. Then I get the news that, for now, church will be held online. Online! This virus is gonna be in big trouble. Messing up my ball game is one thing, but messing up church is messing with Jesus. On Sunday morning, our family watched the pastor preach the sermon on virtual church. At the end of the service, she asked us to pray for our families, our neighbors, our nation, and our world. Up until this morning, I thought there was very little I could do as a kid. Truth is, there was still a whole lot more I could do. I could talk to God from home just like at church, and so I did. Monday morning, Mama says, "School has been canceled. We cannot go. We have to stay at home with our families all day, every day. No going to school with my friends." She says I will now have school at home with my family. Stuck all day long at home with my family. I could feel the irritation begin in my toes and rise to my face at the prospect of being cooped up all day with the family. But it did not take me long to learn. I actually love working on my reading lessons while sitting next to Big Brother. I loved having art lessons with Baby Brother. I loved having Dad help me with my math. And Mom was great with science explanations. My biggest lesson so far has been learning how incredible my family really is. You know, the year the world shrank and I could not explore the nation, the state, the county, or even my own neighborhood was sad and lonely in many ways. My world went from big to really small pretty fast. But you know what? For every mile my world shrank that year, my heart grew. Author illustrator Marlene Dean, the pastor of Cameron Hill Presbyterian Church, and an educator with Lee County Schools in North Carolina, teacher at B.T. Bullock Elementary. Credit special thanks to all the people who made and released these awesome resources for free. The presentation template today was by Slides Carnival. The photograph at the beginning was by Unsplash, and construction paper art and images by Marlene Dean. Again, thank you so much for joining me today for this story. Hope it was enjoyable for you. Bye-bye.